I basically have to draw a way to pick up a Hopeless Nightmare and I can win. All right, let's take one draw. Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing off this Esper deck that is kind of a merge of the Orzhov enchantment or Orzhov Feyblade deck that a lot of people have been playing in the past, and the Dimir deck that we played yesterday, because I thought the Dimir deck had some legs to it, so I definitely wanted to try it out a bit more. I'm going to separate these lands so there's not just one long thing, so you can kind of see what type of lands we were running right away. And with that said, let's just break down the deck real quick. So our primary focus is using effects that pick up cards after we've used them once and get repeated value out of the same card. So a card like Hopeless Nightmare is a good example of that, where it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life. So worst case scenario, we can just cast this card later on to just make our opponent lose 2 life if that's all they kind of have to offer, if there's no cards in hand, because we use a card like Liliana, for example. But the way we get repeated regression from this card is using something like the Nurturing Pixie or Fear of Isolation. At a time, Brick. Nurturing Pixie says, whenever it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target non-fairy, non-land permanent you control to your hand that gets a counter. The Hopeless Nightmare is a very good card for that, so you can play this on turn 1, cast this on turn 2, pick this back up and replay it. Everybody's kind of seen this kind of situation happen before, but outside of that, we can use the Pixie to use it to pick up like Nowhere to Run and other things like that. But before we get too far, I'll read Fear of Isolation, and this is a blue and a 1. As an additional cost to cast it, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. There's a lot of cute stuff you can do with this. We've seen it in the video yesterday, but unlike Pixie, it does not have to enter the battlefield in order to pick up this Hopeless Nightmare, so that's definitely something to look at whenever you're kind of diving into the matchups, is that if you think they might have a counter spell and you want to keep hitting their hand, you just cast this one so you can guarantee pick this back up. Worst case scenario, you can pick up something like a Surveil land and replay it so you can kind of isolate the top of your deck and see if it's something you're wanting. But other than that, these two will really follow up well with Nowhere to Run. Obviously, the meta is pretty aggressive right now, so having Nowhere to Run is very nice, especially when we could pick it back up and use it over and over again, because Boros Auras, Azorius Auras are using things that we'll talk about in a second that give themselves ward and get kind of annoying, or Snakeskin Veils and things like that. But this says, when it enters, target creature and opponent control gets -3/-3, and basically out of all that, it just ignores ward and hexproof, so you can still target creatures with those without paying that cost. I don't even think Arena offers you to pay the ward cost. Like, that was a problem in the past. People would pay a ward cost when they didn't have to, even though like sometimes you want to if it's a discard. We're not going to talk about that, but it primarily focuses on this card because this card is also broken. I think both of these enchantments are incredibly good, and as enchantments move on, like, these two are just going to keep breaking the meta. But when it says enchant creature you control, when it enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until Sheltered by Ghost leaves the battlefield. It can say 1/0, lifelink, and ward 2. I don't know why the extra stuff is there. This is an ossification that buffs your board and just gives it lifelink. So this is your kind of mono red win condition along with Nowhere to Run. And having both of these available when you have ways to pick them back up when the matchup matters a ton. For example, like playing a Scavenger into a Sheltered by Ghost is so nice, because then this is hitting for 3. And then if you do that nonsense where like you play a Hopeless Nightmare after, pick it back up, replay it. Now this is a 5/4 because this is 2 enchantments that enter. Or you play that and you use the Fear and you kind of pick this back up. Now it's still 5/4, but now you're reset and you have a bigger creature in play. And for our top end here, it kind of goes into something else that's very nice, into the Entity Tracker. This has Eerie on it. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, which doesn't matter in our deck, obviously, we draw a card. So if our hand curves out weird, where we kind of have to play a Scavenger and then we play a Sheltered into this on turn 3, if we haven't necessarily done the Hopeless Nightmare plan, but say we have it lined up to play it, bounce it, replay it, works incredibly good as a 1-mana make them discard 1 and then draw 1 off the tracker if we have that going, plus like maybe pumping is happening across the board. So it can kind of get a lot of synergy value. I do talk about this deck quite a bit in the outro. I think I have like a 6-minute outro talking about things I would change in this deck, and that's kind of why these are here. So if you're interested in that, feel free to watch the outro. It is what it is. With that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the games. I hope you all enjoyed them. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Truly helps out the channel a ton. We're getting pretty close to 2,000, which is pretty exciting. And with that said, let's just go game. We'll keep. All right, cool. So we actually can play the game. So I'm pretty pumped about that part. I was like super afraid of just setting a thing down and dying. And the only issue is if it is squirming emergence, we'll definitely run into some problems here. Fire off the Nightmare. It sticks immediately. Nothing going on. Now they're just deciding. And then we can play the other Shadow here, I guess. Maybe we could play this if it was worth anything. There goes a cut down. Surveil again. Nowhere to run with a cut down and Sultai. I don't know if I should keep this. I guess it's fine. I'm not sold that it's the best card that I could be playing, but well, they missed a land, so I feel significantly better about our chances. Now I can slam a Lily. I can play the Pixie and do the No More, I guess. Let's play the Scavenger here. Let's play a Pixie. There's a pause, so cut down's obviously available here, I think, or go for the throat or something similar. We're going to try to flood out our hand the best we can. Honestly, with the Pixie coming down, picking up this Nightmare, them using a spell is actually pretty good for us. That means we're thinning their hand much quicker. But the main issue is if they start connecting these lands together. That's pretty good. So, interesting to see what they are. Go for a Virtue here, get that out of the way. One less card in hand again. So we'll play land. I'm going to opt for a Liliana. I'm going to plus. We're going to get rid of Nowhere.
Don't overthink things.
Then I will play this down. Main problem is if they do play like a Squirming Emergence or some type of reanimate effect, because I don't know what this is for, because we've barely seen anything. Man, just finding spells, huh?
I'll take my zombies and leave.
We're looking to sack this now because we are doing the opposite. We're getting a little bit of a flood situation going on here. Sorry, I was trying to hit okay there, opponent. Basically looking for anything other than land. Okay, thankfully we cracked that and didn't just like hope on it. We'll slam here. Cut down's obviously a possible bargain that our opponent can have. So I'm going to overload this guy, and the reason why we're overloading this one is now cut down is not available, plus it has ward 2. If I do find another enchantment, it will go above the threshold of dying to a Nowhere to Run if our opponent's also on that. This card right here. It's a tough one. I'm sorry, opponent. But I do think we were definitely in a lot more trouble than what was led on, because our opponent could definitely, if they were like a reanimate style deck, they could bring this back, and then we're in a lot of trouble considering we don't have anything in hand. But come away with the win regardless. I'll take it. All right, my opponent goes first. Our hand is pretty decent. We'll keep. Like, we have some draw, especially if we're against one of these matchups finally. I've been against control in a while. Oh, it's Haughty Jin combo. Okay. Interesting. So this is going to be a dead card for now. Combat. In there. This is mine. I'll pick it back up. Now I can obviously counter this and the whole board's clear. They can force me to bounce that. Yeah, there goes a flood. So now they can use it to make me pick stuff up. This is definitely going to be a hard matchup, I think. When I was playing the Orza blue-black variation, I was playing ley lines, so this matchup was not that hard when it came through. Okay. Sure. A land hit here is actually huge. No black mana available, so that's interesting. Now I'm just going to pass to try to flash this in. They might counter it, but at least I can do it on their turn. Then we can go on our turn looking pretty good. Also, I need to get a blue thing down. Why I can do this. Oh, they just play a creature. So this can't bounce this, by the way. Just so we know, like, that pause could have not been because of this. Play tracker. Maybe they have a bounce spell. We draw a tap land here, which is only slightly annoying. But we can do something pretty sweet here. By pretty sweet, I'm like, not even entirely sure I should. Let's do white mana, blue, blue. Let's cast here. Let's pick this back up. What we're going for here. Makes sense. Enters. Now we can play this good one, and then we can immediately attach here. Just so we can keep this in play, hopefully. Now we have a flying 3/3, nice looking threat going on here. But a little bit of a weird way to get like a better land in play for us, because that does let us cast this campaign and stuff. If they play the third Into the Flood and pay the ward here, like, sure. Audigen all mana in. Super sick for us. Now we'll pop this out of our way. They will have a helping hand. That's the only problem, is this will be coming back this turn for more mana, or with more mana open, so the counter spells and stuff will be there. Recommission with the counter, sure. Nowhere to run. Can't really do much about that, huh? Their counter spell will only be for 2. Yeah, I guess so. I could play this and pick up the sheltered, but then they have the counter spell available for that. Play our tap land. And we have options. I can go to combat. I doubt that they block, but they could. We never know. Please let me attack. Marina's like trying to tell me not to right now. Interesting. This one. I have my 2 mana available. I have ward on this creature, so it's not like it works out that well for them. There's no phase effect that I can think of. No, that's gone. Now we'll see this counter spell come through, I think. Maybe. Or no. Oh, yeah, because they only have 1 mana available now. Yeah, it's not. They don't have 2 mana open now. Are we bringing it back for the 3rd time? Okay. We fall for the same play, considering I have another nowhere to run. Eyeball on top. That's definitely going in the yard. Maybe they helping hand it back. Sure. How many effects you got, brother? Like, oh man, that's a tough one, huh? Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna figure this one out. I see my draw first. All right, listen, the campaigns are good, but not this good. The combat. Just attack with this. They have another helping hand. We'll see them block again. Decide not to this time. Here. I'm going for this now on this little doodad. Just because I don't know what it could be. Yeah, it's a land, unfortunately. Now I have a fear I can pick this back up if they tap out, and I can take care of this Audigen. 5/5 is mad annoying, but it's not. Or they might deal with it for themselves, yeah. That's tough. They would have probably done it that way for you, anybody. That's fine. Alright, so now they probably have a counter spell to get that little doodad back, and I feel like we're just going to get outvalued here. 9/5 plus they have a flyer back, so I should just prevent 9 while I can. And these campaigns are just awful right now. There's just no way to get around this, I think. I just don't know what we do. They get rid of that as well, sure. They tap out again, which is interesting. Okay. This one. Target here. Well. Need the black mana available, and hopefully we hit. Frustrating. Don't need you. Okay, I have every single one of these. I have all 4 in hand. Honestly, that might just go to show that we might need to cut this card. Because, like, it cannot be this dead in this spot. It's so dead. Helping hand? Why not? Okay. They're looking to see if they can't find another threat with that helping hand. Put one in hand. Okay. Yep. Dick. Why not? Bring them all back. I mean... Helping hand it back, brother. Bring back another one. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we can squeeze a win through this. I don't know how we would do that, but as long as we can block these hottie gens, it can happen, I guess. So I can nowhere to run, remove 1, draw a card, pick this back up, deal 2. Get close, and then I'm like dead to the flyers. It's like just this weird game, dude. I don't know if we can figure out a way to get through this, but we'll try. I mean, I can technically kill one of these, but I don't think that works out. I think I just have to try to block them. So let's remove one of these. Raw. Huh. Yeah, I don't think we can do it. I just don't think there's a way. I mean, I guess I could have done the nightmare plan on this and then blocked one of these. I just don't think that's like a winning, like a super winning play, right? I can hit them for a ton, I suppose. I mean, I have 2 blockers in the air, I guess. Do this. Yeah. We're gonna try our best, of course. Just laying down, all that matters. So, block 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, if one of those hottie gens comes through, we die, so... But if this follows through, we have a chance to kill them with the Hopeless Nightmares. Hopefully it's a dead draw. Please just be a land. Yep. We got... I think it is kind of a dead draw. Now, obviously, they'll have a 2/2 in the way. Thanks to the Oculus here. No way. Oh, they're going to put 2 threats in the way. Oh, okay. I mean, fair. Yeah, so now we have to get there through threats. Okay. So I got 1 damage, 2 damage. I basically have to draw a way to pick up a Hopeless Nightmare and I can win. All right, let's take 1 draw. All right, so one of those is flippable. I've learned. Do I have enough mana for that? To pick up... I have enough mana to do all this? So 3. I'm just short to do it that way. But if I go this way, I have a better chance of hitting it. Well, no, it's draw 2 regardless, I guess. Let's throw this in. Maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't. I have no idea. We have a lot of bounce effects, and this gives us 2 looks. Oh my lord, did we actually just do it? There's no way. Yeah, it's a good game. Good game. Holy cow. That's insane. I thought we were losing that game. Did I have a good one? Yeah, you didn't put me against mono red. I'm gonna be honest. Even though this isn't my favorite deck to play against, because like it didn't happen as much this time, but the amount of times it's just like cast one of these, cast one of these, cast one of these, and then they like pass their turn. It's like when Phoenix and Pioneer doesn't hit any Phoenixes, you're just like, yeah, I'll wait for you to draw your 17 cards this turn. Like, so it's a little weird, but man, winning that game, that's a wild game to win for sure. These I'm not sold on right now. They're a little close to the cutting block. No blue mana, but don't necessarily need it. We'll keep. We're on the roll. I'm going to hit a card in their hand. They were on the play, so should be good enough. They get rid of a land means they have pretty good cards in hand, most likely. All right. Could use a get lost here, the worst kind of effect. Might have meeked the Swiss Spear. Interesting. Pretty tame so far. So I kind of want to get the Fear of Isolation down, but I can't because obviously we don't have a blue. Like, it would be the best play, I think, to pick this up. Kind of just talking through it, just if I did have a blue mana available, but we do have a get lost now. Definitely in a weird spot. We'll let the 2 damage happen if that's what comes down to it. Sweet. You like to sacrifice that so I have less creatures to deal with? Now, they could have a Snakeskin Veil. Find a Picnic Ruiner here or something. Definitely popping that. It didn't make a target, so this should fizzle, right? Yeah, I think if they pick a target, yeah, it fizzles. Sweet. So we surveil here. Don't need another blue card if I don't have a blue mana. And now we have to hope we live. They find another land. Another Swiss Spear means Liliana's not going to be the best. Are we dead here? 2 Monstrous Rages could do it, or something similar to like that, or a Fling here. Well, they're in combat and it's paused, so there's definitely not a Fling available. Are they going to commit to do all this extra damage, or do they think we have something? They must think we have something. Interesting. Yep, sure. Oh, they're definitely going to leave that one on top. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm just dead. I think there's going to be this play land, play this 1 mana spell and kill me. Could Liliana and obviously plus, but then it's 2, 4, 5, 6. Target this. They're most likely going to hit. So as we do this, I think blue mana we've been fine if we could have played this, pick this back up, especially here, and then hopefully we could go for the Shelter by Ghost. But this coming in, I assume a 1 mana spell is going to target it, or even the map. Yeah, it's a Monstrous Rage. Is that enough? Yeah, it's enough. Please kill me. You have enough. Yeah, I feel like we can win that game a ton. I mean, we had 3 cards in hand that were dead. I would have had a blocker there if we're... Arena, let me look at the match, please. If we had this Fear to come down, we could have picked this up and then played it, and we would have got the Monstrous Rage out of their hand, so then their hand would have been very generic looking. This would have activated on here. Monstrous Rage would have went in the hand next turn, and then we would have sheltered onto the Fear of Isolation, taking out one of their creatures, and we'd probably be good off there, but, I mean, we just fall short. Well, now we get to go first with no white mana. All right, Arena. I see you. No worries. Play this straight away. Call it a good time. Then we'll play this. We'll most likely know where to run. Our opponent is going to put stuff into play. Please don't draw white permanents if I'm not going to have a white mana Arena. I understand my opponent's playing mono red, but we don't have to favor them every game. Camp's annoying. Weirdly enough, Challenger's actually worse. Especially here, because it's like 2 life, right? If they want to sack this, you shoot me, then be my guest, bro. I don't. That's fine with me. Land would be great, and we do find land. Still no white. Pick this back up. A white land would have been even better, because we could have played this and then picked this up, and then this would have grown our fear here. We definitely need a white in case we find our best removal spell, and our opponent leaves the game. Okay. Interesting. Play this into this, or maybe even use my kind of removal spell. So sure. We'll play our planes, and we'll slam this down. You have to remember this won't be turned on based on what lands we have currently. Anybody else confused? Just me. Okay. Sure, dude. We'll keep this. Attack. I could hold it as a blocker. I'm kind of on the sign of 1 toughness is not that great. Sure. What in the world? Yeah, dude, you got it. Yeah, you're killing it. Yeah. Sure, my guy. I don't know. I hate that one power just got to you. Pick us back up. Oh my gosh. Bro, lightning strike it. Send the 3rd one upstairs. Why not? Alright, well, they found threats, it turns out. We are definitely surveilling here. Yeah, I knew you were going to be a land on top. Arena does nothing else. There's nothing else but persistent on making you draw only lands against red. Obviously, no attack here. We're definitely holding. Another land from them. They play a slick shot, sure. Yeah. Sure. Nice instant speed spell, my guy. Does this even draw? Plus 3-0. This becomes a 2-2 after? Sure. Yes. Yeah. Alright, let's see if I lose. Oh, what's this? Fire this off. Maybe we'll hit something good. Maybe I'll hit another land. I'll keep any threat here is incredible. Have another lightning strike, maybe? Sure. Fantastic. Exactly what we needed. And I will put a stop on this upkeep now. Maybe. Yes. So this will be a crime. We're taking their only threat. I will put a counter here. I will pick this back up. Yes. Do this for now. We don't know what we'll end up hitting. Fire this off. Here. Uh-huh. I still think I'm cracking this here. Especially with that draw. I should have monitored what it was going to tap for me, but it'll be alright, I think. Everything else is now fine. Where to run? Pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, we're off. Play this doodad. Play this little dude. Move on. They definitely have some amount of removal. Or they have another one of ease or something. Anything that can target my creature, I guess. If you'd like to target my creature, I'll allow it. Okay. Good game. Waited until I hit them before they decided that it was a good game, but sure. Alright, we move on. We got it. It's very cool. I guess. I don't know. We go first. Thankfully, I have mana that works. I just had to cut the last game I played because I got 2 lands and didn't draw any. The infamous arena play after, you know, you flood a ton. The next game you'll have no lands. It's arena's favorite thing to do. Conceal is pretty good here. I will keep. I do have good spells in hand, so I'm okay with keeping land right now. But I guess Conceal's a little weird because I don't really want to play it outside of this. Now we have to decide whether our opponent is the kind of combo deck or not. I'll play here, and I'll play Lily, and I'll start plussing on their hand. Lily not the best card in this matchup, and I'll get rid of the Passage. The reason why Lily's so tough is because this card's really good. And it looks like we might even see a Lily of their own come down next turn. We'll see, though. Yeah. Sure. Now we can force them to do this, which is kind of more or less what I did with Lily. I'm pretty inclined to just double activate.
Off you go.
Yes, that's fine. I think I want to get the tracker in this turn. I do think they're going to tap out here. And I can play tracker and just look to pump my hand full of cards because they're going to want to save this Mosswood. Forest, green, and they play it. Sure, that's perfect. Because now, while they save it, I can just keep removing it out of my way. So let us play this first. And these will trigger. I'll put a counter here. We want to try to grow both of these out of the range. Oh my. What fines? Do I even care then? Do I just like minus on them? Or no, plussing on them so good. But do I care that much? Do I get rid of this and keep the nightmares? Put you out of cut down range. Yeah, I'll return this to hand. Alright, another campaign means I can plus here and get rid of one campaign.
Don't overthink things.
And then I'll hit them for like 5 here. And the thing about this matchup though is like the nightmares start, they're like effectively at 6. If they cycle this again, they're at 5. And they have to answer the board. Because it's not like that creature can stay now because Liliana just minuses on them. Whatever creature they put, they could die next turn, I guess, is what I'm saying. Depending what they put in play, because it's Liliana. It kind of has to be a removal spell. It is the exact opposite of a removal spell. Okay. I can do this one of 2 ways. Let us just play this down first, get our max draws up. I'll target here. Go there, and then it is just a GG. Thanks to the Scavenger. No mana held up. And then this should be enough, right? They're empty-handed. Yeah. And they were the combo version, so I'm just going to go to combat and kill them. Yep. Very cool. We get there. Very sick. Definitely a tough game if they get the Mosswood value early. We saw them kind of miss a land. I think they missed the land there. And then they didn't really put like anything super threatening down. Now, to be fair, Glissa doesn't work because I have the Nowhere to run. And I think I've had this for a little while. I could be wrong. But also Lily Minus can do whatever it needs to. Playing this there was tough because they cycled the Mosswood. But I think they drew this off the cycle Mosswood. I think you're just playing this. Like, I don't think there's a reason to save the Mosswood there. You kind of just let that. You have to let that go and prioritize like staying alive. Yeah. It's a little interesting because it's like, should I play this first? And I think the answer is yes because I have this available. Feels like the correct play. So this mono red, it's like so hard for red to beat. Blue white, it could be auras. It is not. But I will surveil here because now this will be turned on, which is nice. Second Hopeless Nightmare is pretty good. To grow this, make them discount a card. You unlock this room, return a creature. Okay. Relax, brother. Like. Oh no. Oh no. How would you take that? This is much better. Take that back. I'll grow this. Then I'll play this. And now Nowhere to Run doesn't kill it. Could have an edict, I guess. Would you like to discard? Helping Hand? Discarded a Helping Hand? Okay. Like, the thing is, now I have a Liliana. That does something. Sure. I believe in you. I will return this. I will not make the mistake of thinking, buddy. Sorry. I know you haven't thought in a really long time, but I am currently thinking. Make your decision. Attack. You're down to 2. Okay, go ahead. What you got for me? Sure. The thing is, you still have to answer my 4/5 flyer before I win the game. Combat, attack. What do you want to give me? That makes sense. I didn't even play my land. My opponent is feeling themselves for sure. Like, watch, I'll get their other card. Oops. That's tough. That's a tough look for you, man. You got a removal spell for this? Oops. My bad, buddy. Alright, so here we are. One of the main things I've changed the most in the deck throughout the day is how many lands, or like what variation of each land I was running. At one point, I was 4 stacked on these because I thought it'd be easy to turn them on. Apparently, with Magic the Gathering, it is hard to make sure that these are ever turned on. And the amount of 3 land openers I had that were just these, and I didn't have like any of the cards for the 1 mana I didn't have being black. I would never, I just like never had a black mana, and I would just have like 2 of these and 1 of these in my hand, and I'm 3 of these, and no, I never drawed land. It's a sick, cruel reality sometimes. The other thing I had a ton of is I was kind of stacked pretty heavy on this, because this is kind of the argument, right? It's hard in a deck like this to not run a ton of these, but also you want to be able to cast 3 mana and 2 mana spells at the same time. That's what's so misleading about this deck, especially with how we have like these pixies plus the Fear of Isolation, you know? Like how we have these to pick up things in non-stop like value kind of engine press here. So it's a little bit weird to have these because they'll enter tapped after turn 3 forever. So you want to opt for these. But these lands, the fast lands they're called, do not turn these on. So it's tough. And I didn't have Fabled Passages in at first, so you'll probably most likely never see them. And actually, I don't even think I ended up finding one after I put them in. So you probably won't see this land show up at all. But we opted to settle on this. Orzhov was our primary color here. I made some changes, so blue is a lot higher. So these surveil lands might end up falling in a different category of just 4 of. So do be aware of that. I think like Intimidation Campaign in this deck might have to be cut. I'm not entirely sure for what. It's a very good card whenever you're in those slower grindy matchups. But we all know that best of 1 is a little aggressive. And we just kept... There was a couple of games where we just kept drawing 3 drops, and we were just like, man, I would really like to keep drawing these lower to the ground spells as our curve is really low. But we do have 24 lands, so argument could be made like maybe trim down on a couple of these, keep running the tracker, only have like 8 of these, and then maybe you can trim some lands to fill out this kind of area over here to maybe play some other things. Unsure. Just kind of the first crack and go around at this type of deck with Esper. Obviously, it gets a little bit harder with the mana. You want to make sure that you're running it pretty smoothly. But that said, I mean, the games that I felt like the mana wasn't an issue, where I was either drawing too many lands or not enough lands, I felt like the game was going pretty well. Or there was a couple of times where, like, I had 3 mana and, like, I think it's one of the games we ended up winning, where I just had 4 of these in hand. If they were just like anything else, I was happy. The other thing might be that the Fear of Isolation is a little too cute. And if it's too cute, then we probably don't necessarily need blue. I just feel like Entity Tracker is better than Braids in a deck like this whenever you're just picking up enchantments and going all out on that. but maybe we can opt to play more enchantments that aren't a kind of setback card. But oftentimes abusing Hopeless Nightmare is what we want to be doing, and if maybe we shouldn't be playing like Tinybones Joins Up at the same time, then maybe we should be doing that as well, just so we consistently find more 1 mana like things. Or maybe we're supposed to play the Bandit's Talent over the campaign, and honestly I could see that because it's like a nice 2 mana card that can slot in, and then if we do hit those lands and those heavily hit hands, we can pump that Bandit's Talent, things like that. So as I've done in the past for the people who are here, we'll... I don't want to talk to anybody. Don't worry, I can spell. I can spell a little bit, not that well. But Bandit's Talent can kind of go over into the side, and we can kind of like... People who watch it know why there's one of these in the sideboard. You know. You all know. They don't, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think maybe these are just better than the campaign, probably. It does help our curve out a lot and cut out this other 3 mana slot that we find pretty bad. And maybe even there, we can kind of trim down on the isolations, maybe go to 2 and then put like 2 Tinybones Joins Up, so we only have kind of 6 of these effects. I believe Tinybones Joins Up is also... Damn it, yeah, so... We're even doing 1 where we only run like 3 of these and we're stacked on this, you know. Just something like... It's just weird sometimes, especially with a card like Scavenger. Because if we could play this on 1 and then we have like a Hopeless Nightmare and a Tinybones Joins Up, this immediately becomes a 3/3. That turn, they got hit for like 2, so that's 5 damage, and then the Tinybones is 1, so that's 6. You know? Or I guess it's only the legendary part. So either way, they take 5 damage on that turn too, and we put a lot of damage on their hand. We've seen a lot of people like mono red players be mulligan a lot recently. So that's also an option. The other thing that you could argue is kind of what we've done in the Orzhov builds or the blue-black builds, and just put 4 Leyline of the Voids in here. They would have helped out today quite a bit, but with that said, there's a lot of directions you could take it. Obviously, if anybody has any advice or any success with the deck, if you end up trying it, I would love to hear it and see kind of how you settled in on that. Obviously, the rares are going to be a little bit tough when it comes to the lands, but we obviously have a lot of common and uncommons here, as you can see right away. The rares and stuff in terms of what lands or spells we're playing is not very high, and then Tinybones, our Bandit's Talent, is also a uncommon, so you can immediately see that like it pretty easily slot in for this. So you have a lot of spells that you can play and things like that. Also, the Get Lost, which it didn't end up coming up, so maybe we just kind of lose to it, is this was here for temporary lockdown. I didn't see one ever, like just like never. But like if we lose to it, maybe we just chalk it, say we lose to it. But I like having the 1-of bullet, especially when you do have things like Hopeless Nightmare that deal damage on ETB. But that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.